Hi, I'm Claire from Inspiratrix Yoga. This class is a gentle one that's all about massaging your internal organs with your breath. Props-wise, you will need a bolster if you have one, otherwise a couple of cushions instead, maybe a third cushion, and also a blanket that you can turn into a roll a little bit like this. Enjoy the class. Start by lying on your back on the floor with the knees bent. With the arms stretched out like so, they're like a T shape, and the knees bent. Let's focus today on breathing into the organ ring that's just underneath the diaphragm. So below your diaphragm, you've got your liver, mostly on the right-hand side, but a bit on the left. There's the stomach on the left. And then you've also got the spleen on the left, and the pancreas is probably somewhere in the middle. And the kidneys are towards the back. So take some slow breaths into that layer around your middle. So just below the base of the lungs, around the upper part of the abdomen. Feeling for breathing really fully into the diaphragm, so that as the diaphragm moves, the organ layer is going to get some movement too. So there's a gentle moving, squeezing, massaging of the organ layer as you breathe. Let the belly move freely too, because that's going to help the diaphragm to move. If you're blocking or holding the belly in, that might be limiting the movement in the diaphragm. So have a sense as you breathe in and out of the belly moving freely outwards with the inhale. And then with the exhale, you could pull the belly back a little, just to help that movement on the exhale. But really the inhale should feel quite free. Just a bit of engagement on the exhale. And then take that into a lying down twist, starting to track the knees slowly from one side to the other. Continuing to breathe really freely into the belly. Just taking the knees from side to side at a slow pace. Being aware of this upper abdominal area. Of how you're bringing a bit of twist to that area, a little bit of movement. Making the movement as slow as you can. Really tuning into the whole of that layer, so like the front, the sides, the back, and whatever's happening in the middle of you. Next time your knees go over to the left, keep them over to the left, and pause there. Inhale, sending breath to that upper abdominal area. Exhale, lightly pulling the belly in. Feeling for releasing stress and tension from the upper abdomen. Then take your knees over to the right-hand side. Inhale, sending lots of breath to your middle. Exhale, lightly connecting to the belly. Softening any tension around the middle. Now roll all the way onto your right hand side and sit up from the side. Coming into a comfortable seated position on your mat, we'll do a side bend. So we can make lots of length on and stretch out one side of this area. But let's do this with one leg straight. If you take your right leg out to the side with the leg straight, other heel in front of the groin. If it would be helpful to prop the hips up on a cushion or a block, if that would feel better for your back or hips, then feel free to put something underneath your sitting bones. So let's make this side long. Bring your left hand down onto the floor, out from the hip. Inhale, lift the right arm up. Exhale, keep both sitting bones grounded down into the floor. And then breathe into the space around here, around the lower right-hand side of the rib cage. Sending some gentle movement just with the breath to the right-hand side of the organ ring. Then adjust the top arm into neck release. So still leaning over to the side, just having the right hand lower down now. Either just taking the head straight to the side, or if it feels better in the neck to change the angle slightly, looking down towards the floor a little. Figure out what feels most releasing for your neck today. Inhale and imagine the diaphragm lifting up away from the pelvis, lifting up the rib cage slightly. Exhale, let the head continue to relax to the side. Then take your hand up off the floor and lift the head up. Change your legs around the other way. And then have the right hand on the floor. Inhale, reach up into a side bend with the left hand. Exhale, check both sitting bones are down on the floor. Inhale, sending breath to the lower left hand side of the rib cage. Exhale, lightly connecting to the belly. And continuing to breathe deeply so you feel this subtle breath movement, breath connection. So the breath is internally massaging your internal organs. Recognizing you can make that, you have a lot of control over the breath and how much or how little movement is happening. You can really dial that up or dial that down depending on what feels useful to you today. Then come into neck release. Just taking the left hand so it's closer towards the floor, but not quite on the floor. Inhale, lift up the diaphragm. Make space for the breath. Exhale, relaxing the head to the side. Finding an angle that feels helpful for releasing in your neck. And then come up out of that. Next, we'll do some abdominal work on the floor. And you will need a few props for this. So we'll do something with the hips on the floor first, but a cushion or roll between the thighs. And then we will elevate the hips up. You could use a bolster for that or a couple of cushions. And you'll also need another cushion to squeeze between the thighs. So have all those props nearby to you. And then come onto your back. So first we'll be doing bridge, some half bridge lifts with the cushion. So take your cushion, maybe fold it in half, or if you've got a roll, you could use a roll and have that between the thighs. Lying in bridge, so feet underneath the knees, feet parallel, hands just resting on the floor near the hips. Inhale, infusing your organ layer with breath. Exhale, squeeze onto the cushion, tilt tailbone up, gather the belly in and let the hips lift a tiny bit. Inhale, let the hips relax back down. Exhale, squeeze the cushion between the thighs, tilt the tailbone up, gather the belly in, lifting hips a little. Keep going in this pattern. Continuing to connect your breath with this interesting area around the top of your abdomen. Using this pose to also help bring some subtle movement there. Not coming up too high, like just really keeping the upper and mid back on the floor. It's just the lower back that's lifting. So all these different things we're doing through the class are just helping to lightly move and massage your internal organs. Then remove the cushion and set up something underneath your back to do oblique toner. So if you have a bolster nearby, use a bolster. If not, stack up cushions so the hips are a few inches off the floor. And then the legs will be up. Let's start this with the knees bent, feet over the knees. And then place your cushion or extra roll in between the thighs. Let's start doing this with the knees bent to a right angle. All right, inhale, sending breath down to the abdomen. On the exhale, squeeze the cushion, let the legs rotate to the left. Gathering the belly in a little, staying connected to that upper abdominal area. Inhale, legs slowly track back to center. Exhale, legs track over to the right. Inhale to center. Do one more round with the legs bent. Then if you want to, you could have your legs straight up in the air, or you could keep working with the knees bent. Whatever feels best for you today. Inhale, sending breath down to the belly, down to the organ ring. Exhale, legs go to the left. Squeezing your cushion, staying really stable with the legs. Inhale, legs come back to the middle. Exhale, legs track over to the right, squeezing the cushion, connecting to the belly. Do once more either way. Staying connected to that area around the lower ribs, top of the abdomen. And then we'll add in an arm movement. So clasp the hands together above the chest. And you could continue to do this with the legs straight or legs bent. Inhale, sending breath to your organs. Exhale, legs go left. And the arms go right. Maybe bringing the right elbow down to the floor, maybe looking to the right, if that feels okay in the neck. Inhale, bring the arms back up, legs back up. Keep squeezing the cushion. Exhale, legs go right, arms go left. Inhale to the middle. Do one more to either side. And then bend your knees, bring them to the floor, remove the cushion, remove your bolster or cushions from underneath the hips, roll onto one side, sit up and make yourself one of these blanket rolls because we'll use this as part of a sequence now. It's quite good to have a soft blanket. Take a soft blanket, but roll it as tightly as you can. I'm gonna work with one that's about this big today. As you get more used to these, as you get more comfortable with these, you could work with a bigger roll. But let's start with kind of something small for today. So have something like that nearby, and then we'll be moving through like a modified sun salutation type sequence. So come onto your hands and knees for downward facing dog first. Inhale, land your hands on the mat. Exhale, tuck the toes under and lift up into downward facing dog. Inhale, sending breath to the organ area you've been focusing on. Exhale, lengthen your sitting bones upwards and backwards. So the lower back is long and there's space for your organs. Let the neck relax. And make your breath as big as it was when you weren't upside down. Still bringing in lots of breath. So you're creating this subtle movement around the organ ring. Next, we'll come into lunge. From here, you could step your left foot forward, or you bring your knees down to the floor, lift the torso up, and bring the left foot forwards. Into lunge. Let's do this with the hands on the hips to begin with. Inhale, telescope the ribs up. Feel how that makes space around the belly and for all the stuff at the top of the abdomen. Exhale, press the hands into the thigh. So you stay long in the torso. Allowing your breath to deepen and lengthen through the class. as you warm up in the act of breathing, in the process of breathing. Okay, inhale and come back onto your hands and knees. And either come into a plank with the knees up, or if you need to keep it a bit gentler, keep the knees down. Just bring your weight forwards into the hands, slightly bending the elbows and squeezing them in. Inhale, feeling steady and strong. Exhale, now lower down to the floor, keeping your back in a straight line as you lower down onto your belly. Let's do a boat with the hands clasped. Take your hands behind your hips and interlace the fingers together. Inhale, reach the knuckles back and let the chest come up off the floor. Exhale, also lift the legs up, keeping the legs straight if that feels okay in your back. Inhale, lift the chest a little more. Exhale, keep the feet active as you reach them away. Legs are still straight, so nothing comes that far up off the floor. But this is great for strengthening the back. One more huge breath in. Exhale, come down to the floor and into downward facing dog. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Lift up and then stretch the hips up and back. Let's make this one a moving downward dog. Ease one heel to the floor, straightening the other leg. And then slowly, slowly switch to the other side. Stretching one leg at a time. Next, we'll do a lunge on the other side. So either step your right foot forward for here, or if you need to keep it simple, bring the knees to the floor. Lift the torso up and take the right foot forwards. Inhale, bring the hips forwards. Exhale, press the hands onto the leg. Inhale, press into the leg, lift the ribs up away from the pelvis. Send breath to your organs. Exhale, lightly connecting to the belly. So the outer layers of the belly, like the muscular layers of the belly, can help support the internal organs. Okay, step out of that onto your hands and knees, and now find this roll. So you're going to be coming onto the roll with the roll where your belly is. So clearly, if you're pregnant, this would not be a suitable thing to do. And if you have a history of abdominal surgery, or say you had a cesarean, you'd want to wait a reasonable amount of time before trying this, and then also take it gently if it feels like it pulls on scars. Like if it's been a long time since the surgery, it may well be a useful thing for helping to get more mobility there, but you have to take it gently. So if you find that your roll is like too much, then unroll it a little bit so that it's a smaller roll. All right, so your belly button is, you're going to lie down on the floor, and your belly button is going kind of over the top of the roll. And you want to feel like the roll is not pushing in the ribs, it's not pushing in the pelvic, into the pelvic bones, it's in the squashy stuff in between. So we're gonna do some Cobra push-ups for this. So bring the hands underneath the shoulders, legs are pointing straight back as you would for Cobra. Let's start with the forehead on the floor. Inhale, sending breath to the belly and lifting up into Cobra. Push your pubic bone down towards the floor and have the legs active. Exhale, keep the legs active. and lower down to the floor. Inhale into the belly, lifting up into Cobra. Exhale, lowering down over the roll. Do 3 more in your own time. Continuing to connect to that organ ring area. Once you've done those 3, stay lying over the roll a little longer. Turn your head to the left and take your left hand behind the lower back and take some breaths into the belly. Feel how that also goes into the lower back. Feel for continuing to work with a sense of connecting to your organ ring. Massaging your organ ring with the breath and with these simple poses. And then come out of this, come onto the hands and knees and remove the roll. And we will come into another lunge. So step your left foot forward to where the hand was. Inhale and bring the hips forwards. If you start to feel pressure in the left knee, move the left foot even further forwards. Exhale and lift both arms up this time. Inhale, fully connecting to the organ ring. Exhale, wrap the shoulders. Bring the shoulder blades down, out to the sides and forwards. Feeling your legs strong, your arms strong. Okay, bring the hands down to the floor and make your way into a plank. So step the left foot back. Either do plank with the knees up off the floor, or a simplified version with the knees down, but the weight coming forward into the wrists so that the elbows a little bit bent, elbows squeezing in, connecting to the core working. Take one big inhale here. Then as you exhale, lower all the way down onto your belly. Let's do Cobra without a roll. Let's do a low Cobra. Take your hands a few inches forward of the shoulders. Inhale, lifting the chest up away from the floor. Exhale, stay here and pull your chest forward with the hands. Inhale, move the center of your chest forwards in space. Exhale, lower down to the floor and into downward facing dog. Lunge on the other side. This time it's the right foot forward. So either step it directly forwards or bring the knees to the floor and then take the right foot further forward. Inhale, bring the arms forward and up. Exhale, take the hips towards the front of the mat. So you get a stretch on the left thigh. Massaging your internal organs with your breath. Particularly focusing on that area that's around the lower rib cage, upper part of the abdomen. You have got organs in other places as well. So like the bladder and the reproductive organs are lower down. But let's focus on this ring that's kind of around the middle, above the waist. Okay, bring the hands down and step onto your hands and knees. Find the rolled up mat again. We'll do a slightly different thing here. where you'll be breathing into the belly, pushing it out against the roll slightly, and letting that action lift you up a little bit without using the hands. And then after you've come up as high as you come with that, may not be very far, then you'd use the hands to take you a bit further. I will talk you through that. So lie down over your roll as before. Roll kind of squishing into the belly, but not pressing on the bones. Bring the hands underneath your shoulders. Legs are going straight back. Inhale into your belly. Push the belly out and feel if that can lift your chest off the floor a little. Then when you've gone as far as you can go with that action, use the arms to take you a little further. Exhale, relax the belly, come down over the roll. Let the roll come in. Inhale, push the belly out, lifting up with that action, and then using the arms to come a little further. Exhale, relaxing down over the roll. Do 3 more like that. Once you've finished your 3rd round, come down to the floor, lie over the roll, turn your head to the right, and take your right hand behind the lower back. Continuing to send some breath to that area. Noticing what you can perceive inside of you. Like you might be able to feel stuck places in the guts. Or if you can feel a pulse, that's probably your aorta, like the big artery at the back. It's quite common to be able to feel that if you have a slighter frame. Letting the roll in so it can help to massage your internal organs. And then bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Lift up off the roll. One more thing here. We'll do some twisting lunges. So step the left foot forward for twisting lunge. This time have the hips over the right knee and left foot underneath the left knee. Inhale and hook your right elbow over the left thigh. Make a fist with that hand. Exhale, take the other hand on top of it. Coming into a twisting lunge. So have the left foot forward, right elbow hooked over the left knee. Continue to send breath into the organ ring area. That may feel trickier or really different whilst we're in the twist. And then try that on the other side. So just unhook the elbows, change the legs over, and then change the elbows over. So your right foot is in front, left elbow is hooked over the right foot. Continuing to send breath to this middle of you part. Continuing to send breath to your organ ring. So there's a subtle internal massaging and movement there. Really just helping the cells to move, helping the circulation to move better. Helping to bring fresh blood, fresh energy. Helping to move any waste products out. Our lymph system, which carries away the waste, doesn't have the assistance of the heart in moving around. So it's really good to exercise and to move because it helps the lymphatic processes to happen. Then come out of that twist and into one last downward facing dog. If you want to make any movements in downward facing dog, maybe wiggling into the hips or shoulders, feel free to do that. And then bend your knees, come down to the floor, and come onto your back to do a lying down twist, a static twist this time, with both knees bent. So lying on the back on the floor, knees are in towards the chest, and then take both knees over to the left. And then feel where you want your right arm to go. It might feel nice to have it leaning, stretching out to the right-hand side. It might feel better to take the right arm so it's going past your head and resting on the floor. Or you might feel that the arm needs to be somewhere different. And then take your left hand, and with your left hand, find the lower right edge of your rib cage and rest the hand there. Continuing to send breath there. So the liver is quite a lot on the right hand side. So feeling and imagining the healing power of your breath washing through the liver area. And then take your arms out to the side, bring one knee back to the middle and then the other knee back to the middle. Pull them in towards the chest and then take both knees over to your right hand side. Left hand could be stretched out to the side or left arm could be stretched out past the head. Right hand comes onto the left hand side of the ribs. Lower left hand edge of the ribs. Sending breath there. Inhale, sending breath to the lower left ribs. Exhale, relaxing that area. So the stomach sits slightly more on the left. Also the spleen. And then ease out of the twist and roll onto your back. Set yourself up in a comfortable lying down position. Close your eyes and continue to breathe into the organ ring area. Noticing how you feel, what you feel around that part of you right now. If you feel more awareness, or if you feel more aliveness, or even if you're aware of tensions that you weren't aware of before. It's all good work. And as we move into rest for a couple of minutes, keep your breath really deep so that this subtle massaging action continues. So that the free movement of your diaphragm as you breathe deeply but restfully can help to support your internal organs in functioning. If your mind needs to focus, let the depth of your breath be the focus. As you continue to notice your internal organs. And then we'll stay here for 5 more minutes. If you're resting, just allow your focus to soften. Trusting your breath, trusting your internal organs to do what they do. After the movement, stimulation, massage through this class, trust that that will support them in the vital functions they have in supporting your whole system. Processing, the filtering, the creating, all the internal chemistry that happens within you. Consciously, but without effort, deepen your breath. Feeling how when your diaphragm moves freely, it brings this movement to the center of your being. And then start to move slowly, bringing movement to the toes and the fingers, and then the arms and the legs. Or if you feel you want to stay resting longer, you could just stay resting longer. That's totally fine too. And when it's time for you to come up, bend your knees, roll onto one side before making your way upright. Thank you so much for joining me on the mat to explore massaging your internal organs with your breath. Do drop a comment below and let me know if this class was helpful. It's really inspiring to me when I hear how you're doing to create more videos for you. The best way to find out when I publish new stuff is to click on subscribe. And if you want to find out about any of the other things I do, I've got live virtual yoga classes. I have some in-person classes, retreats, teacher trainings, and so on. That's all over at my website, inspiratrix.co.uk. Have a great day. Namaste.